Hey guys, this is Helena from Glass Factory. I'm here with Steve, who plays drums, and Julian, who plays the bass from Young Rising Suns. Hey guys.
How's it going?
Good.
What's
How are
up?
you?
Good, really good.
Cool. Well,
Good.
tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, we're in a band called Young Rising Suns. Julian and I have known each other for probably longer than we haven't known each other at this point in life. And actually like the founding members of the band, which is kind of crazy.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm the drummer and Julian's bass player, and I kind of think when we started the band, it was kind of like, all right, Steve, you could play a couple instruments. Julian's like, I could play a couple instruments, but no one else could play drums or bass, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about your guys' origin story as a band. I know you guys said you were the founding members, but could you go in a little more detail?
Yeah, for sure. Man, Julie and I, we used to play at this place called the Internet Cafe together in Red Bank, New Jersey. It's now an Urban Outfitters. It no longer exists,
Wow.
which is really sad. But we played like local bands there all the time. Julian claims the first time I ever met him, I was a dick to him.
The story is I used to wear a headband when I played to keep my glasses on, and Steve used to have really long hair, so he wore a headband as well. So he came out this way, I was going this way. I'm like, oh, dude, what's up, man? Sweet hair. Just ignored me, just walked away, and I'm like, what?
I don't think that's what happened. I didn't.
That's what happened.
Ignore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so him and I had met that night, and then I guess stayed in touch despite the fact that I was rude to him. And then we kind of I just was like, I really want to start a band. And we had another mutual friend at the time who played guitar. And the three of us started, playing together, writing songs, and we were like, we really need a lead singer. And we had a mutual friend who was like, hey, there's this guy who's just like singing at this bar in New York City, like, got to check him out. And it wound up being Andy, and we were like, wow, this guy's an incredible singer, so good. And we were like, all right, why don't we try and see if he wants to like play some music with us? And like met up with him, played some songs, like wrote some stuff, and it was like that scene in Step Brothers. We're like, all right, do we just become best friends? Like immediately just kind of clicked. We became fast friends, and like the rest, as they say, is history. It kind of just like rolled from there. And then Max, we kind of met further down the line, and our original guitar player left to pursue other things, and Max was just like one of those guys. I have no idea how we met Max. Like we just one day.
No,
like we were just friends with him. I can't pinpoint like the first time we ever met him. We were just like, that guy Max is cool. Like, wonder what he's up to, and it just kind of worked out.
Like we know that guy.
Yeah. It's like a really funny. Like he's just always.
We know this guy. Yeah, just play with us.
Yeah.
And
Like, he's like been to a bunch of your shows or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, we just had like a lot of mutual friends, I think, and it kind of just clicked. It made sense. He's just like a really nice guy, a really talented guitar player. So yeah, I don't know, and we're still kicking now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I could totally understand like that mutual friend and that like community that's in like a small music scene as well. So that's really cool to be able to like tell me your guys' story about that.
Right on.
Cool. So who inspired you guys as musicians, and what were the songs that you would practice when you learned how to play?
Oh, Julian, you first.
I grew up and still am heavily influenced on a lot of punk rock and hardcore music. Obviously early on it was Green Day and Rancid and The Offspring and bands like that. It wasn't until my favorite band of all time is called MXPX, and one of their music videos came on for a song called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And just looking at this dude, just bleached blonde hair, piercings, tattoos, and he was playing the bass that I wanted to buy, which I eventually did. I'm like, this is it. Like, I have to be not only do I have to be in a band, but I'm going to play bass. That's what I want to do. I don't care about being a singer or anything like that. So it was because of that music video that I decided to play bass, and it worked out well because nobody in my town played bass. It was just a bunch of guitar players and drummers. So cool, everyone wants to be in their band. This is sick. Like, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think for me, like I grew up in a house that really like no one played music, but everyone was really big music fans. So I grew up like one of the main reasons I started playing is that like my family would, my dad in particular, would just put like records on and just be like, "Can you play this?" and just kind of put me at the piano. And so I grew up like we listened to a lot of like Queen, a lot of Motown records. My dad was like a massive Temptations fan. And then like from there, just kind of had like those ground roots of being a fan of music. And then I discovered like punk and pop punk and fell in love with like Blink-182. And I was like a really, really young kid. And as a drummer was like, oh, Travis Barker, this guy's sick. I just kind of like started doing that. And that like really was the like starting point for me being like, I want to start a band. Like, I don't just want to play music. I want to start a band. And that kind of expanded from there. And now it's like crazy. Julian and I have a really eclectic taste in music, and we're kind of all over the place in what we are inspired by and listen to. But that was probably where it began, at least.
Yeah. I mean, your influence is definitely like it. I mean, they make sense. That's for sure. Even though they do sound all very different, it does make sense to like what your sound is and what your current sound is.
Definitely. Yeah.
Sorry, Julian.
I think we all just try to we all have very different tastes, and we all just try to take what we like and just throw it into songwriting and producing, and hopefully it all comes out the way we want it to, which I think it does. But it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun process.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So how's the pandemic affected your creative process as musicians?
Oh man, I think like when it first started, there was kind of like a lull in everything that we did because we just couldn't be in a room together with each other because when the pandemic was so new, we were like, we don't know what's going on, like we don't want to be around each other, like no one really knows what to do. And I think it was just tough to write. Like we were just like seeing all these cases go up and seeing like just it kind of wreak havoc on the entire planet. And I think like it was hard to sit in front of like a guitar or piano and be able to like write something and feel good. Like I would just kind of sit down and be like, what's the point? Why am I doing this right now? And then I think after a while, it kind of became like cathartic and we started doing Zoom sessions together. And it was just like nice to kind of get back and like try and write. And like, someone would bring an idea in and we'd all try and write lyrics to it and melodies. And then we would just kind of like finish that, close out the session. And then all of us would just like wait anxiously while Andy would just like track a demo really quick because Andy produces everything.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then he would like send it over like just a rough sketch. He'd just like track some vocals and some of the guitar parts that we had like written on a Zoom session, and then like send it back to us. So it was like definitely a new thing for us, and it was kind of rough at the beginning, but we like hit a stride and just started writing like every single day. We were like, all right, well, we had nothing else to do except for like play video games. Right. So let's just write songs. So we wrote like 1 million songs. So we have like them, and some of them made it on our EP Swirl, and then others made it onto our album. And we have even more that we haven't released, basically like a whole couple albums worth of music. So it was like kind of put us into hyperdrive as far as like being creative and writing songs. And trust me, like not all of them are great. Some are good, some are great, some are awful, and we'll probably never see the light of day. But it was like cool to it was just a different take on a creative process that we really like tried to lean into as much as possible. So yeah, right. I don't know. It was interesting, if anything else.
Yeah. What was the most memorable track that you wrote on the album using that Zoom interview or Zoom process, since that was just so different?
Oh man. One of them, I mean, one of my personal favorites, I think, was that song from the EP Swirl, not the album at least, but End of the Tunnel. It was like lyrically, it was kind of like right when vaccines were coming out, and it kind of felt like appropriate to be like, oh, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel right now. And I remember kind of like going back and forth and writing lyrics over Zoom, and we kind of just like cruised through it, and we're like, man, we are really good at this now. Like we could just do Zoom sessions whenever. And then like vaccines came out, we're like, all right, I guess we'll go back in the studio together. So it was like kind of just funny timing, if anything else. What about you, Julian?
I think Sunday Sunshine, just like right around the same time vaccines were coming out and everything just seemed a little bit more optimistic. So I think for me, that song kind of exemplifies that whole thing of just being positive and happy and just moving forward as best we can. So I think Sunday Sunshine for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, your guys' this album just really, what was that bright, sunny sunshine, happiness, hope for a new day, like very interesting stuff to write during the pandemic.
I think it was like a big. I mean, it was the pandemic was a huge catalyst for that in a lot of ways because we kind of
Yeah.
looked around and we were like, all the news is bad, everything is bad, everyone feels bad. There's so many heavy things happening. The world needs maybe something a little different, and we were just like, we could write about that stuff and like be honest and be realistic about like the fact that things in life are heavy and like we're experiencing some crazy stuff. Like, um, just once I'd like to live in precedented times instead of unprecedented times. But
Right.
the music can kind of reflect that, and we always wanted to try and like it's like always kind of been like a quality of Young Rising Suns was to have things feel like positive, or have that positive twist, like just an optimistic outlook, because that's just kind of the people that we are.
Yeah, it's cool. Sweet. Well, is there any
Yeah.
other concrete themes about the album that you wanted to discuss?
I don't know, Julian. Do you have any thoughts?
No, I think just overall as a band and this overall thing, it's always just been about positivity and just looking forward, moving forward. I mean, we're always going to go through obstacles and we're always just going to go through, really, really tough times, but there's always going to be the next day, the next step,
Right.
So I think it's just moving towards that way with a positive mindset. That's just everything we've done. I mean, of course, there's other things happening, BS stuff that happens in your life, whatever. But yeah, overall, that's always just what we've been doing, what we thrive on doing. So
yeah. And then I guess for some reason the album title just clicked for me. Still Point in a Turning World. It just really fits along with what you guys were talking about. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think that was like just kind of the whole theme of the album in general, something like that. Like it's kind of a snapshot of a very specific time period. And that's kind of like the whole purpose of it all. And I think too, like we're the kind of band, and we've always been this way. It's like we try and be very transparent with everything that we do, like with our fans. Like we are not fucking cool people. Like we are who we are, and we're very unapologetically ourselves, and that is reflected, I think, in the music and the lyrics and everything. It's like we just try and write music that is really true to who we are and real experiences that we've dealt with, and like that's, and it's, I don't know, everything we write is always kind of that. It is exactly that. It's a still point in a turning world. Everything keeps on going, and we're gonna just take a little snapshot of our lives and put it to music, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, cool. Any other thoughts, Julian?
That's Steve said it. Steve said it
all. Sweet. So how will this release influence and inspire projects in your future?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I think there's certain songs, like we all have like favorite songs off of this album, I think. And I think like pushing forward, we're a funny band. I think we like have a certain spectrum of songwriting styles that we write, and like they're across the spectrum, and some lean to one side more than the other. Some are kind of like right in the middle. And I think we kind of, with this album in particular, really found like certain sounds that we really liked and enjoyed and want to lean into in the next album. So I feel like there's certain sonic moments on this album that we're trying to like lean into on the next releases coming up. But I don't know, that's kind of TBD. It's kind of the fun part is like I said, we're like very unapologetically ourselves, and we might feel very different in 2 weeks when we start tracking some parts of whatever album. So who knows really. But I think there's like certain sounds on this album that really kind of started defining our sound right now, and I think that's going to kind of be what some of the next releases are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, are you guys, when you guys are going back on tour, or you have been on tour?
So we have played a couple shows in like New York City.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think, man, so touring is kind of like the Hunger Games right now. Like it's so many venues like there's a lot that closed over the pandemic. So essentially touring right now has just been a really difficult thing because everyone is trying to get back on the road at the same time. So there's just a lot of like hoops to jump through to try and get that sorted out. But we are like talking to our booking agency, and we really want to tour this album, and it's looking like summertime. We're going to be back out there in a kind of different capacities, whether it's a couple like smaller runs on like each of the coasts that kind of dip in, or doing like a full US tour or something like that. But we're definitely, that's our thing. We love, that's like why we started a band, is to play music live, and we really want to get back on the road and get out there. So we are working on it, and it should be happening soon. It's just it's a really tough and awkward time to get back out there.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I've actually been wondering, how hard is it to get a venue booked at this time when everybody's trying to go on tour?
That's exactly it.
Those
it's
two
like
shows.
Go on, Joel.
No, those two shows that we did, it almost even didn't happen because of just how many people were trying to get.
Wow.
Like reserved like those dates for, and luckily we got New York and LA. So doing those shows were almost a tease, because it's like, okay, cool, like we want more.
Right.
And now it's like, all right, we're just gonna sit and wait, or just try to work something out when everyone else is in the same boat. So yeah, but we're trying. We have to. I can't release music and sit somewhere. I need to get out and play and see everyone. So
yeah, that's our like sorry, that's like our like cathartic release in life, like just getting out there, playing songs, and like having everyone having a good time, and just like singing together. It's the best feeling in the world. So trust me, we're chomping at the bit to do it. So it should be soon. And I hate saying soon because it's like such a Young Rising Suns trope. Like soon, it's gonna happen soon. But it is, I promise.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask like what your favorite part of being on tour was.
It's that connection, I think, with fans. Like going in I don't know, it like because tour in itself, it sucks. Like you really, like you get no sleep, you eat garbage, you're just mostly driving in a van with a bunch of like everyone's in the same boat, kind of just like cranky, and you're doing your thing. But when you go on stage, that's when all of that just doesn't matter. It goes away. You have a moment where you get to play songs that you've written that have connected with people, and it's like truly the best feeling in the world.
It's such a roller coaster, because the 10 minutes before you go on is awful. You just want to go, and you got the schedules and logistics that have to happen and whatnot. So you're just kind of waiting, and we're all on in-ears, so we just have our in-ears, can't hear anybody what they're saying, just super anxious. And then however long we played, 30, 45 minutes, hour, whatever it is, best feeling on earth. Like there's nothing like it. And then you get off stage and there's a 10 minutes of, I wish we could play longer. We can't because curfew or whatever reason.
Followed up immediately by our tour manager being like, okay, we got to go immediately and drive to Denver. You're just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you ever have any time, maybe you could like go backstage, or not backstage, but I don't know how crazy fans are, but like go up front, play one more song acoustic or something like that, just to get that encore.
Yeah, definitely. We also like we're very in like we love our fans. We're so thankful for them, and like we would not exist without the support.
Right.
Like the Suns family is like small but mighty. Like we have the best fans, and they're so supportive and there for us. So we always make sure, like after we play, we take the time to hang out with every single person.
Oh, that's so
take
cool.
photos with everyone, sign everyone,
sure.
like have conversations, sign stuff for everyone. And just like chat with them. It's cool. Like you go to cities and there's people that like we've been a band for a long time, and there's people that are fans of our band like we've known for like 6, 7, 8 years. So it's cool to kind of be able to like go to a place and see a familiar face, and I don't know, it's just like, it's great. It's like seeing old family members. It's really the best.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool to hear. I really appreciated chatting with you guys. Do you guys have any additional thoughts?
I don't know. Anything, Julian? Got anything fun and exciting to share with the world?
No. Other than this band, I'm kind of boring.
Yeah,
That's about it.
me too.
Well, cool. It was really nice
Yeah,
having you
thanks
guys.
so much for having us. Yeah, this was
Yeah,
great.
thank you so much.
Yeah, it was really nice talking with you guys. I hope to see you guys around in Northern California whenever you guys come up here next. So,
Yes, soon.
soon.
I hate saying that. I'm sorry. Soon,
No, it's
but that's our
okay.
favorite word.
We hope.
Soon.
We hope. We hope for sure.
Yeah.
It's totally understandable. It seems like it's absolutely nuts right now.
Yeah, it's a very weird time to re-enter just the world as a band.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, everyone's just like, all right, cool, pandemic's done, let's go. It's like, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure, I guess we'll just go for it.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't even get me started about how weird that feels. Just everything being like normal and
Like just 100% full go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very odd,
Right.
like, because it happened so fast. It was just like, all right, you're just gonna hang out inside of your apartment or your house for X amount of time, and then, all right, good luck, everybody. And I just went out and I was like, how do I even speak to people? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
even. I'm sorry, we're just adding on dumb like anecdotes about our lives, but first, like, I remember going to a grocery store, and some guy was like walking around with his cart, and I kind of like pulled my cart out of the way so he can like go by, and he was like, oh, thank you so much. And I was just trying to be like, yeah, you're welcome, like, like any normal human being, but I like couldn't control like the tone of my voice, and I literally was like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I was like, what the fuck was that? That just like came out. I wasn't even trying to do that, but I don't know how to interact with anyone. I kind of was like, I'm so sorry. And he just like looked at me like I was a monster. I was like, oh god, what have I done? Yeah. So I don't know. I was just struggling. It's hard. It's hard out here.
Yeah. Talking with people is hard.
It's just difficult. Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Well, thanks again, guys. It was really nice talking with you. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks. Likewise.
Hey.
Great chatting with you.
Yeah.